A lot of people are very upset actually right now. I guess, and hearts are very heavy in the African American community regarding the final decision that the jury came to as far as allowing George Zimmerman to walk free from the unfortunate incident where he killed Trayvon Martin. One thing that we actually have to understand, and actually, I was sitting with my mom last night and we were really, just paying close attention pretty much to it. And I pretty much said for pretty much, I would say maybe last week or so when all of this stuff was still going on, that I said to her, my mom, they were going to really let him go. I really did feel that deep down within my soul because for some reason, you know, the quality of African American life in the United States really does not mean much to society. That's just me speaking personally. Like I say, I'm allowed to do that. And for the most part, really what I'm hoping this does not stem into is a riot of any kind, any type of discontent, for people who are not of the African American race. One of the main things is that the Bible says that, there's nothing new under the sun. So with that being said, I would expect for something like this to happen. We have a lot of instances in court cases where white folks, were pretty much let go for the most part for taking a African American life. And for the most part, we as African Americans already know our history through slavery and, being pretty much the outcast of a lot of things, having to fight for equal rights for things that are pretty much given for the most part to white folks. But, and I'm not racist, I'm just pretty much stating what's fact, and you cannot argue with fact and history. But for the most part, I pretty much knew that they were going to really let this George Zimmerman go. For the most part, from how they actually select their jury, for the racial makeup of their jury, and for the pretty much how they kept stalling last night on what they wanted to know as far as the definition of what they, of manslaughter. And pretty much when they were trying to do all these type of things, actually, asking for definitions, I already told my mom they're pretty much stalling. They're trying to buy time. That's all they are, because they already knew for the most part that they already was going to find George Zimmerman not guilty. And like I say, for those who actually have, children, African American children, or those who may have only one child or whatever, they can pretty much identify, or actually can pretty much almost, identify with, Trayvon Martin's mother and, and his family and everything that they're going through. One thing that I will say, as far as the message to the African American community is that we cannot allow these type of things to allow us to act like complete buffoons. We have a strong history of really, I guess getting our voices made through marching, through protests and everything like that. But see, we have to understand something is that it's okay to do these things, but we have to make sure that we keep them within the proper perspective. That means not going out there and acting all crazy and getting all buffoonish and acting all like clowns and actually just going out and just behaving like idiots on steroids. Because for the most part, the society pretty much is expecting this from us. You know this because of again, right before the trial yesterday, you had a lot of people out there who were holding up, free, George Zimmerman is going to walk free and all this other type of stuff. Those pretty much who were for George Zimmerman. But the minute that verdict came down that he was not guilty, you did not see any of them out there. They pretty much hurried up, dipped, got in that car, wherever, and they left because they pretty much knew that the African American community was going to really, be up in arms and really upset, and and rightfully so. So for the most part, I'm not saying that I'm too surprised at the verdict, but all I'm saying is that for African Americans, make sure that we actually behave with class. Because again, I understand that we are very emotional, hearts are very heavy, and especially for the immediate family. But we have to understand, something, that this is not something that should have taken us by surprise. Again, the worth of a black American or an African American's life in this country is not really worth much. But we have to stick together and really know that we are worth something. It doesn't matter who says what, it doesn't matter what a judge says, it doesn't matter what a group of 6 women have to say. Because again, we know that for the most part that this fight is not over with yet. I hope and pray that his family, the lawyers and stuff, the legal representatives for this particular, for the Trayvon Martin family, I hope that they appeal the decision. I'm pretty sure that that's pretty much what they're going to do. But we all, again, have to make sure and understand that, these type of things are going to happen. Again, the Bible says that there's nothing new under the sun. These are the type of things that, that African Americans, unfortunately, are going to have to endure. You know, and again, the sad part about it is that this is going to create a further divide for race relations, especially in the South. I mean, because again, the South has a rich history of racism. You know, so again, all of this is going to do is just pretty much douse gasoline on a fire that has already been burning for centuries, for decades now. And again, we have to make sure that you as an individual person don't contribute to the ignorance that society is really wanting black folks to behave in. Again, you know, we can sit there and say, you know, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that, or whatever. My advice to every African American that's listening to this video is that don't get over emotional. Keep your emotions in check. Don't allow the decision of 6 women to dictate how you're going to treat white folks for the rest of your life. Again, you know, this is unfortunate. But we have to make sure that we are still here amongst the living, having to dwell with the aftermath of these type of things. So you going out there banging somebody across the head who happens to be white is not helping the situation at all. All it's going to do is land you in jail. And the fact about it is that then they'll have the upper hand as well. So we have to understand something. And if there's a lesson to be learned from this, just know that leave the justice system to the, you know, leave all of these type of things to the judicial system. Let God have his way. Because that's the only way that we are going to really get through this, is to allow God to have his way in the situation. God says vengeance is his. And he never asked us to step in there and take a substitute for him to fight any battle of his. The battle belongs to God. And unfortunately, you know, racism still is an issue that we're still having to deal with. Our grandparents dealt with it, and it's been a curse that's been going on for quite some time. And unfortunately, it's not going to go away. Why? Because the Bible says that there's nothing new under the sun. So again, you know, I already knew that this was going to be the outcome of this particular situation, but we have to make sure that we don't allow the outcome of 6 women dictate how we treat folks who happens to not be black. Because again, we should have learned from the Rodney King incident. Okay, they made those officers, they acquitted those officers, but what did we as black folks did? We went up and tore up our own communities. White folks still had their stuff going on. They had their shopping malls and everything else. We sit up there and burn up our whole blocks, trying to let the folks know that we weren't in agreement with their decision. And they're sitting up there laughing because, idiot, you sitting up there, you're supposed to be mad at us. Common sense will tell you, okay, if you want to get back at us, to come to our neighborhood and destroy our stuff. But what did we do? We so often get so over emotional and we go and damage our own, knowing that we have to go back to those same places the next day to make a living, to get something to eat, to do all this other type of stuff. So again, you know, I'm going to keep this short and sweet and everything like that, because I don't want to make this a drawn out video, because I'm pretty sure that you'll have a whole bunch of other videos on YouTube and postings on Facebook letting people know of their dissatisfaction. So I'm not going to even buy into that. But anyway, you know, let's just keep it, you know, calm. Let's be sensible about the matter, and let's be classy about the matter. Because again, none of us was there personally. So again, we are allowed to feel the way that we want to feel, because that's our God-given right. But don't allow the actions of 6 people who we know nothing about dictate how you treat folks who are not of the African American race. Okay? Peace out. God bless.